Hi everyone, this is Mustafa Bermawi from No Good, and here's my good friend Vik Venkatraman, and I guess we're up to no good.
We are up to no good. I really appreciate you having me on the show. I've got my new book, Mechanized, coming out any minute now, and I'm very excited to talk about all of the ways in which I think, or at least in my experience, I have found that people can really take risk out of building and delivering new products to the world.
This is awesome. I'm really excited to talk to Vik about this topic. He's one of the best people, my favorite people to talk about this. He's not only just a serial entrepreneur, we've also helped advise and was an angel for many startups in the New York scene. He's also an advisor for many Fortune 500 brands on this topic. So we've seen it all, and he's one of the best people I personally like to talk about when it comes to how to build better products.
I really appreciate that. But I firmly believe that with the right mindset and the right tool set, anybody can take steps to pull risk off the table and increase the odds of their success in building and making something new.
Makes sense, makes sense. And this is this takes us to, my next question actually, which is, why this is important, and I think you're touching on this a little bit here. Mitigating risk is really the game most founders and VCs are in. It's like how you mitigate risk and really make sure that you get to the goal or the objectives, or make your product actually succeed and be useful to people. Why you think we did this? You decided to publish this book at this point, and why this matters. So, what's your perspective on that?
No, it's a great question. Imagine a world in which 9 out of 10 teams working on this thing right now were not going to face complete lack of success in the market. Said differently, if these are all teams that are working on solving important problems for society, maybe selfishly for me, I want them to succeed. I want to live in a world where more products are successful, where more problems get solved. I mean, isn't that the sort of world any of us would want to live in? I think that's why this is important.
Yep, absolutely. It will, I personally, again, I'm working on many products and helping many teams with different products, and it will definitely make my life a lot better. So selfishly, it's something that I really, truly care about. But again, it's a world that we all want to live in. More products that succeed, and more useful products, certainly.
And I think we live in such interesting times where more and more is possible, both socially and technologically. And I guess also, I've only recently really had sort of the headspace and the time space to capture this stuff into a book that I guess I felt comfortable would be useful to enough people in the world. This is the moment, man. I think this is the year that I hope more and more people get out there, build something interesting for themselves, and do it with success. And if Mechanized can help with that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, man. This is truly insightful, and again, if we just end up improving the odds of building useful, successful products by really small margin here, I think the world, it's going to improve many people's life. Of these, again, tiny percentage in increasing the odds of success is something that, again, we're all in the business of. So,
and let's not forget, millions of people, millions of teams are trying to build something new right now. A 10% increase in success rate would be thousands of new products for us.
Absolutely.
Who wouldn't want that?
No doubt, no doubt. And so let's jump right into it. Vik, tell me, what is the secret?
So my key insight has been that the single biggest part of nailing down a great start to a project has been in fully and firmly understanding your customer. And there's a tool that I call customer assumptions, and we're really trying to document the things that we don't know about our customer. And I used to do this by asking teams to tell me all the things that they didn't know, and predictably that went poorly. Who can tell you the things that they don't know? And so what I've tried to do instead is focus on what we do know, or perhaps what we really truly believe and may not be true.
Wait, so founders don't know it all? That's not true?
As founders, we know nothing. So let's work on the things we know, or more accurately, the things that we really firmly believe. And by capturing and acknowledging them as beliefs rather than as knowledge, we open them up for testing. And I think that's the first step. There's a tool that I use that I've been calling customer Mad Libs. And if you've ever done Mad Libs as a kid, they work in exactly the same way. There's a sentence, and it has been battered down over the years to be as simple and elegant as possible. That's got a couple blanks. And if you can fill the blanks in the sentence, you can get started on really testing what are the assumptions that you know and the ones that you don't know. Let's focus on the things we know. And more accurately, by capturing our knowledge as things that may not be true, we open them up to testing. And it's really in this testing that we allow ourselves to figure out where it is that we've got the most work to do, where we've got the most risk to pull off the table. And really, it's how you can capture something potentially fatal and turn it into something that you can really transform the future of a project with. So here are the Mad Libs. And so the way you would use this is you just fill the gaps in. My team assumes that customers who have these characteristics, like here's how my customer looks and feels, have this goal. This is the goal that they want to get to. We assume that today, here's how they meet this goal. What are they doing? What are they buying? Are there other solutions? Whatever have you. We assume that the problem with this goal is whatever the problem is that we're trying to fix. Maybe there's so many better ways, it sucks somehow, it's too expensive, it's too painful, whatever the case may be, we capture the problem. We assume that the customer is aware. Maybe they're aware, maybe they're not aware. Is there an education hurdle that we have to get through? And whether it is low, medium, or high severity. Like how painful of a problem is this really? If you can fill in the sentence, you're on your way. So let's walk through an example. This is definitely a company that you've heard of. And I'm sort of coming up with maybe if they were to have used this technique in early days, what it might have sounded like. So my team assumes that avid readers who live maybe in the Seattle area really want to find and read more books. Today, they accomplish this goal. We assume they accomplish this goal by going to their local bookstore and maybe even going to book shows or fairs. Maybe they even have a network of rare book dealers. We believe that the problem with this current solution is local bookstores have limited selection. Not everyone has access to something like a book dealer, and there's got to be a better way. We believe that our early adopter is aware of this problem and that it's a pretty high severity problem for them. We also believe that if we were to make it really easy to buy books, maybe any book, on the web in a simple e-commerce way, that people would adopt that, and that then maybe we could sell them more than just books.
Oh, let me guess what the company is. Microsoft. Yeah, no. Who else in the Seattle area? I guess Amazon.
I like the thing with where you say Microsoft, and then that's good. Okay. So give this a shot with what you're working on, and maybe even leave it in the comments of this video. You know, one of the benefits of working on your projects in a step-by-step way, and that's really what Mechanized is about. It is about separating one step from another, because it's so often to try to do everything all at once. One of the benefits of working on your project in a step-by-step way is that you can break the steps apart, and you can get them to be really good by themselves, and in that way, you link them up from end to end. That's really what this book is about trying to take this thing that seems so mystified, demystify it, deconstruct it, break it down into small, simple, bite-sized bits that anybody can do.
I like that a lot. And you know, I think the Amazon example that we just gave makes this more concrete, more compelling, and easily digestible for people like myself. What else should we expect to see in the book? I personally know what's in the book because I've read the book, but what else should we expect? For those who haven't read the book or haven't seen it, what else you get there?
So Mechanized really is about taking through all of these steps, and that starts really with capturing what we think we're working on. Is our customer really the right customer? There's a couple of exercises in which the book helps walk through that. Is the way that we are choosing to solve it, have we identified the right problem? Is like the problem solution pairing that we are working on in our product or service really good? Is it really right? What are the ways and the tools in which we can use to test that? When you're actually making the product, are you making it the right way? Are you sequencing the features that you work on in the right order? As of course you know, every time you add a new component or a new feature to a product, whether it is a piece of software, a piece of hardware, a service offering, there's some risk and some cost associated. And really what we want to do is try to work on those in the right order so that each time we learn something new from our customer, from our market, we're making the product or the service better. And that's really what Mechanized is about. And I hope that is what we are able to deliver for readers of the book and for those watching this video.
That's awesome, man, and I really think Mechanized gave that, gave me, at least personally, a new perspective and really, like, looking, it's a whole new perspective on seeing product market fit, I may say, and I think there's a ton of content on that out there, but Mechanized was one of the most concrete and compelling ways to really understand problem solution fit, or as some might say, product market fit. So again, thank you, Vik, for being here, and it's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all for tuning in today. Vik, thank you for being here, and hopefully we can continue to get you awesome guests such as Vik, and to talk about awesome topics and something that would be useful to us and you as well. And go buy Mechanized. Thank you all. Cheers.